Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs Show. Happy Friday afternoon. It's pretty much time for you all to finish work, so I hope you're all okay. I hope you're all right. I hope the day has treated you well. Whatever it's been up to today, I hope you've made the most of it. In this video, though, we're talking about the breaking news surrounding Spurs buying a player, sort of not buying a player, sort of buying him in the future. You'll see what I mean when I get to it in a minute. We'll talk about Giovani Lo Celso's deal to Betis drawing a little closer. We're talking about Sergio Reguilón, an interest from Ligue 1. We're going to be talking about Alfie Devine, Luca Gunter. We're actually going to be talking about quite a lot of transfers, to be honest. So plenty to talk about, plenty to get into. Just want to say, if you're watching this and you're new, subscribe. You're very much welcome to join us for the journey. I think we've got about 7 or 8 subs until 3,200, which is pretty damn cool in my opinion. So yes, a lot to get into. And yeah, I'll start with the Lo Celso news, because I think that's a lot more prominent. So Fabrizio Romano saying that the deal to Betis is drawing closer. So this does mean now that the I guess you could call it a saga. Would you call it a saga, the Giovani Lo Celso one? It doesn't feel as much of a saga as Emerson Royale's, but it does kind of feel like a saga. But I'm not as bored of talking about it. But he's saying, yes, the deal is drawing closer. Now, I did see the report from Diorio Ole saying that, you know, Spurs wanted 30 million euros, but Betis have offered 6 million euros. You know what I mean? That's just not true. We're not wanting 30 million euros for Giovani Lo Celso, because you're not going to get 30 million euros for Giovani Lo Celso. I mean, hell, you might as well just said, I want 100 million euros. You're not going to get that either. So, you know, what's the point? But the deal does coincide with this Johnny Cardoso deal. So this is an exclusive that came out all of 18 minutes ago. So from Fabrizio Romano saying that Tottenham are closing in on a deal to agree on a priority option to sign Johnny Cardoso from Real Betis in the future. Spurs will buy a percentage on future sale in case they decide against signing him. It's part of the deal for the Giovani Lo Celso to Betis deal. So, look, I mean, for me, it's different. It's odd. It's the first time I've ever come across a deal like this in terms of when I've been doing content. You know, the fact that we're signing someone but not signing them, but you might be able to sign them a bit more in the future. If not, you're going to get some money for not signing them, and they get sold. You see what I mean? The makeup of that deal is a bit weird, is a bit foreign to me. I'm trying to get my head around it. But let me tell you who Johnny Cardoso is, because I think a lot of people are probably going, who the hell is that? Okay. So Johnny Cardoso, obviously, like I said, plays for Real Betis out in Spain. To give you an idea as to... Oh, I've lost it. Let me bring it back up. There we go. Johnny Cardoso. So he's 22 years old. He's born September 20th, 2001. So he's 23 in about 4 weeks. We'll call it 4 weeks just for the hell of it. He's a defensive midfielder that can play, obviously, a bit more of a 6 to the 8 region. His contract expires in the summer of 2029. He is an Italian. He apparently also has citizenship for Italy as well. Very nice. Interesting enough, Betis bought him for 6 million euros from Internazionale out in Brazil. So, yeah, not Internazionale in Italy, the one in Brazil. Transfer market value at 25 million euros. He's appeared 3 times already this season, once in La Liga and twice in the UEFA Conference League qualifiers. I don't know if Sevilla made it through, Betis made it through or not. Last season last season for Betis, not in La Liga, but for Betis, he played 19 times, scored 1, 2 assists across the La Liga and the Conference League, playing just over 1,500 minutes. So, look, I'm not going to sit here and sell you on a dream that he is the second coming of Christ himself, but it's like I said, it's such a weird signing. Like, so Spurs not signing him, but Spurs are signing about a bit of him. But if Spurs don't sign him and he gets sold elsewhere, you know what I mean? I don't really truly get it. The stream's lagging a little bit, is it? Interesting. I'm not seeing anything. If I bring it up on my other screen, I'm not seeing anything too laggy. Not sure. It is lagging. Oh, okay. I'll try my best. I'll try my best to get through it all. All right. But yeah, we're not technically signing him. We're signing like a little bit of him. And then from that, Spurs then can sign him in the future. But if they don't sign him and someone else signs him, Spurs will receive a fee for it. So it's like buying like 25% of the player. You still have to buy the rest of him. But if someone else buys him, you'll get 25% of that sale. If that makes a bit more sense. It's a bonkers old deal. It makes no real sense. We've gone from signing players and selling players to signing a bit of a player, but not too sure. It's like having a taste test. You're never sure if you want it or not, you know? But there we go. Talking of Alfie Devine flavoured news. So, Football Insider saying that Birmingham City's loan move for Alfie Devine has fallen through on transfer deadline day. Al Ettifaq out in Saudi Arabia have shown an interest. Alistair Gold talking as well on Alfie Devine, saying that he has a number of clubs interested in a loan move. Clubs were originally told Spurs plan to keep him this season, but that changed this month. Blackburn, Swansea, Parma, which is out in Italy, sides from Germany and others in Europe are among those believed to be interested. Obviously, this is a guy last year that technically had two different loan moves. He had one to Port Vale out in League One. Obviously, then had a loan move then to Plymouth halfway through that season. The Port Vale loan, obviously, very, very good, very, very solid, very, very fruitful. The Plymouth move not as good, but that was mostly down to the crapshoot that Plymouth were. You know, obviously lost their manager who moved to a different club. They brought in, is it Ian Foster, who was Gerrard's assistant, who has coached Phillips and Devine in the England U setup. They then brought him in. He stunk up the gaff. They brought then the director of football to be the coach, who played negative football, quite, sit back, 30% possession, which isn't Devine's game. And lo and behold, not what we hoped for. So it is what it is, but hopefully the next loan move, if he is moving on, is a move that's actually going to benefit him. He's going to learn and he's going to be actually developing. Talking of Sergio Reguilón, Fabrizio Romano saying that Lille out in France were in advanced talk for Sergio Reguilón, but Spurs rejected their loan proposal. So I always said about the loan, I think Spurs would happily take someone to take him on loan. Spurs make maybe £1 million on the actual loan fee, and someone just take his wages, and Spurs will be sold on that. Dust your hands, move on. But I wouldn't be surprised if Lille tried to think, well, look, they want to get a few quid out of him. We'll give him the $1 million, but we only want to pay half of his weekly wage. And Spurs going, no, we'd rather you just take his wages so we can forget about it. So yeah, on Reguilón, I still expect him to move. I'm not worried about it. Like Lo Celso, I'm not worried about him. They will both move, but I just really wonder who's going to go for Reguilón. I don't know if Lille are in Europe this year. I don't know if they're in Europe this year, but he wants a European team. Maybe it's somewhere in Turkey. Maybe that's who we're going to get him. Maybe we loan him to Fenerbahce and he goes out and helps Fenerbahce against Man United. Maybe that's how we do it. What is that with Cardoso? Yeah, it's a weird one, a few of you asked, so I can answer a few of your different comments. Cardoso is a defensive midfielder for Betis, okay? We've, in theory, it's hard to explain this because it is a really weird deal. We basically bought a little bit of him. We bought a small percentage of him, which allows us to buy him in the future without any issues. If Spurs do not buy him and someone else buys him, so if they reject the opportunity to buy him and someone else buys him, Spurs will receive a bit of the sell-on clause. It's part of the Giovani Lo Celso deal. That's what it's all about. It's the last year of Reguilón, so Spurs won't send him out on loan. Well, you say that. Perisic, Dyer, all those ones, they were on loan. Hey, Joshua, how are we? Amel, mate, how are we? My is it Bosnian friend? I think Bosnia, right? My Bosnian friend, just on stream, who's this Cardoso fellow. Well, I just explained it, mate. I hope you were there for it when I explained it. Weird old transfers today. I don't know why Chelsea are going for Sancho. That's such a weird deal. They do not need him. Anyway, Spurs are actually the bookies' favourites to win the Europa League. Oh, look at that. Mental old stuff. So Spurs buy him. Sorry, 1 minute. The love heart's in the way. So Spurs buy him. He will be a Spurs player in the future. They won't be buying him now. They buy a small bit of him now. They buy in the future. Would he be a starter for us? Well, it depends. Depends when we get him. If we get him, you never know. So anyway, moving on. Ange talking. Ange is talking on Tottenham last minute signing. He said, I think that's it unless something surprising jumps out. And this is the key thing. Don't always listen to every report that I give you and think that's the gospel. Don't listen to everything that you read on Twitter and think that's the gospel. Obviously on here, it's a bit different. We sort of bring it to the stream. We talk about it. We sort of say, do we think there's anything in that or not? And then we move on, right? This week's been a prime example. We were told, no, we'll still sign someone. People saying, watch out for Spurs. They're going to be really busy. We're not going to be that busy. We're busy, obviously, in moving off of players. We're not busy signing in players, you know. Sounds like a way for the club with not a lot of money to sweeten the deal to bring in Gio. Yeah, you could see that. I mean, Spurs might obviously be keen. Spurs obviously, you know, they don't mind that kind of deal. It's a creative way of doing it. Obviously, Betis will give us money for Gio. We'll give them money for Cardoso. It's how those deals always work out. Everyone we have bought from Spain has been crap and overpriced. Leave well alone. Just ask for a fee for Lo Celso. Every player from Spain has been crap. I have to think about that one. Gareth Bale's all right. He came from Spain. Anyway, moving on. Wait for someone to go. Actually, we sold him to Spain first. Anyway, I want to talk about this Dutch report linking us to a player. I don't see anything in it. I just wanted to quickly bring it to the table, but it's not happening. Saying that Spurs are following Olivier Boskagli. Boskagli, what a name. Brighton attempted to sign the centre-back before this transfer window shuts. He could hold out for a bigger move. The player has 1 year remaining on his contract. We're not signing him. I don't feel for a second we're signing him, all right? It's absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Good player. I'm not denying that, but I think we are done. We are done now. It is what it is. You know, Ange said he didn't want to bring in a new centre-back for the sake of bringing a new one because he doesn't want to block the path of Phillips and Vuskovic. But then loan Phillips out, which was bold. But I guess I can understand that. Dorrington obviously still being around may help. But it is what it is now. It may not be what you want, but if Ange says it, I'll back it. That's the way I feel. As much as I may have wanted another left back or left centre back, I will back Ange more than I'll back anyone else's comments. And then the day he's the coach, he sees them all week in, week out, day in, day out. And I've got to totally respect it, and I do. Now we look forward, more importantly, away from chances, and we look forward to a huge game this weekend. Sunday, 1:30, Newcastle United. I think is it 1:30? I just want to make sure. Newcastle versus Spurs. It is 1:30. I was right. I think it's 2 o'clock for some reason, but it's 1:30 Sunday away to Newcastle. Preview tomorrow morning. Myself and obviously Luke will be with me hopefully for it. So we'll be talking about it. We'll be talking about the injury news that came out today. We're going to talk about team news. We're going to talk. I don't think we'll talk about chances, to be honest. I probably will be a little bit tapped out on the chances front, but we talk about the preview. That'll be tomorrow morning. Do join us for it. We may do it live. It may be pre-recorded. I don't know yet, but do join us for it. We'll be talking some good stuff, and we're going to try and find the positives in away to Newcastle because there hasn't been many over the years, but we'll try and find some together. And you never know. One of us may even predict Spurs to win. You have to wait and see on that one. Speak to yourself that we're finding hard to get rid of Reggie and Lo Celso. Well, we've had offers. We just rejected some. I wouldn't say it's hard. Cardoso looks okay, though. Decent DM. Yeah, well, let's see how he does this season. It might be one for next season. But there we go. Thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. I know I don't normally do something in the afternoon, but breaking news happens. You've got to go live. We may be live a little bit later. We may do a little quick one at 7. I'll see. But if not, enjoy the rest of your Fridays, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow for the preview. Enjoy the rest of your Fridays, everyone. I'll see you all then. Peace and love. Ciao.